When he was talking to me, he was like, "Yeah, I'm not emotional about this. I just want my money." And then he's like, "But I am emotional about my wife." Like that scene, like every time I watch it, I'm like, "Oh,
yes." I need like a good old like hood, like you know what I mean? I need Pookie and them to be in the back. Like, look at this, man. Look, are you kidding me? What is this? I love that. Like the Paranormal Activity film franchise. It's my favorite thing. I love it so much.
Yeah.
I'm laughing because when I went to go see Get Out in
Yeah.
the theater,
Gosh.
oh
Yes.
my
Oh, yeah, Get Out.
gosh.
Yes.
Oh,
Like,
Get Out was an
yes.
experience.
That's the perfect like current experience.
All right, Gravy. How are we going to start this? Are you doing the intro? No pressure.
It's like right now, like let's go.
Yeah, I don't know. The first
break
one's
mine.
always weird because you don't really have anything to go off of. But yeah, this is the first episode of What We Watching, a movie and series or everything film kind of review podcast. There's three of us, as you can see. You have Omari. You want to introduce yourself?
What's going on, guys? I probably should spit my gum out. I'll do that after I introduce myself. Yeah, my name is Omari White. Love film, television, particularly superhero films, genre films, fantasy, sci-fi. And I love talking movies, and I am happy to be here.
So Maury likes all the stuff I don't like.
Perfect.
Basically. That's basically. So this is going to be great.
So I'm
Great
Gabe.
start.
Definitely love movies. I'm not the biggest sci-fi or superhero movie fan. But I love documentaries, love drama, rom-coms, pretty much every other genre. Yeah, excited to talk about some movies and recommend some as well.
AJ, I like all movies, all genres. Not all movies, but like if it's a good movie, I like it. I don't really have a preference on genres or ones I like more than others. Just give me some good movies. I'll let you know what I think about them.
That's right.
I guess to get into more about what we or who we are, what we like, I guess we can go into our favorite movies. You can go ahead, Gabe. I already know the answer, but
So my favorite movie of all time is Shawshank Redemption.
That's a good one.
I think it's actually cinematic perfection. I don't think there's anything wrong with the movie. And there's nothing I would change about it. Cinematography, Roger Deakins, great. Storyline, great. Has everything in a movie that you would want. So there's love story, deceit, friendship, overcoming. Pretty much anything you could put in a movie, any emotion, any feeling, any topic you could touch in a movie, they touch on it.
if that wasn't your favorite movie, the way that Gabe described it is probably gonna be your favorite movie. Now after watching it.
Exactly.
You're like, damn, that's the only right answer.
It's like you ain't gotta watch it at that point. It's like, wow, that's mine
If,
too.
if someone
That's
ever
fun.
asks you for, hey, what's your favorite movie? Just say Shawshank Redemption, and then just list off everything Gabe said, and you're good.
Am I next?
No
Yeah, you
pressure.
can go ahead.
Well, like half of the superhero movie fan population, I have to go with The Dark Knight. It's just honestly, as someone who is an admirer of performers, actors, that movie rides on the back of the great Heath Ledger, the late great Heath Ledger, and his performance of the Joker. And I just think, while there are some, as a comic book fan, there are some things that I, criticize in terms of just like the Batman himself. I think Ben Affleck recently is probably our most balanced Batman and Bruce Wayne, but Christian Bale is an Academy Award-winning actor, and he's also a huge part of the success of that trilogy and the story specifically in The Dark Knight, which gives you just a little bit of everything. And again, going back to the Joker, it's a spellbinding performance. You're immersed into the world because of the Joker, and you just believe him. You believe the Joker. You believe this character and his idea. And that's just what I'm always looking for in films, like really from performers, like make me believe what's going on, make me believe what your characters are going through, the missions that they're on. And I love that film so much. It's one of the greatest superhero films of all time, but then probably one of the greatest films ever, probably of our generation. You know, Christopher Nolan really smashed that.
And as someone who is not that into superhero movies, I love The Dark Knight.
Yes, sir. I like
no,
that.
Yeah, I don't. It's a superhero movie, but like I don't even see it in the same like light as other superhero movies.
Right.
It's just like, all right, that's if you don't like superhero movies, you're gonna like that movie. It's just a good movie. And as the trend is right now, Christian Bale understood his assignment, huh?
Oh, always, yo. Christian Bale, like, if he needs to lose weight, if he needs to, chop his hair off, like, he'll do whatever he needs to do to get the assignment done, and it's an A+ at the end of every single one.
Yeah, like if he's in a movie, you don't have to worry about him messing it up or him not meeting the level of the other actors or but. It's kind of cheating because we picked this for the first movie to review, but The Gentleman is my favorite movie. It's a newer movie, and I used to not really want to be like, all right, I have a new movie or a newer movie be my favorite.
So you finally converted to The Gentleman being your favorite
I finally
movie
converted because Shawshank was up there. Because I always liked it, and then after Gabe gave me his spiel that he gave you guys, I was like, all right, this is it. Because I don't even have to explain it anymore. I was like, Gabe, tell him why. But yeah, The Gentleman, I think. No, I don't think. I know is my favorite, but I won't really go into why and all that because we're gonna talk about it today.
Yes, we are.
Is that our next topic, or are we saving that for later?
I guess we can get right into it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good transition. That's a good segue.
Yeah, it is a good segue. So, I think we all like The Gentleman.
Yes.
If you haven't seen The Gentleman,
spoiler alert.
Yeah.
this podcast is going to be strictly spoilers.
Yeah, all spoilers.
Yeah.
Come back, save the video, then come back and watch.
And so, if you don't remember, the marketing for this actually looked like it was like a liquor commercial.
The first one,
The opening frame, I thought it was gonna be like proper number 12.
Yeah, it looked like it was a liquor commercial, but the movie was great. I think it's like super well written.
It has everything you want in a movie, all the pieces,
including wardrobe.
Wardrobe
was shout out to the wardrobe department.
That's kind of we're getting into our favorite parts, but like we can kind of intro it. It's about a, I guess, sophisticated drug dealer, like white collar kind of like he's a kingpin, but not really keeps his hands clean, but for the most part you wouldn't suspect him if you just seen him regularly. He seems like he's in with the elite and is a good business person in general. And someone is trying to buy his business, and through this process. And he's trying to get out of the game through this process. Some other stuff happens, and things don't play out as easily as he's envisioning. And and that's I guess that's kind of the plot.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely you described it perfectly. Sophisticated drug dealer wise, I enjoyed for sure seeing Matthew McConaughey in a different light.
Yes.
I feel like he's always like the super like clean, like good guy. And in this one,
doesn't get his hands dirty, can do no wrong, smooth, suave, always.
So, I mean, in this one, I guess he is still considered the good guy, but he definitely has a lot more edge than he normally does. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't like weird to see him in that role. Like it wasn't, some people you get used to seeing them one type of way, and then when they play another role, you're like,
that's not you.
Right. Yeah, that's not you. Right. Yeah, it wasn't weird seeing him in that role, and I think he did a great job, like conveying what he did. Conveying his role and his part to the movie for sure. Yes, understood the assignment. Then on top of that, I think like the twists and turns that they take you on throughout the movie is like. In good movies, there's maybe one big twist. Mm-hmm. in great movies, there's maybe two big twists. This one is like twists and turns all throughout, and it keeps you like engaged. You never know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, and it's not like exhausting ones where you're like, all right, like you guys said it was this and now it's this now, or like you change it, like okay, yeah, you're just basically like running me through the wash or something.
Yeah.
It's not in bad taste. Like they didn't overdo it. Like I don't. It's hard because it's my favorite movie. So I'm like everything's good, everything's good,
Amazing.
But even like, what was I trying to say before that? What was your guys' first impression of the movie before watching it? If you had even like seen anything, or even just when the opening scene, you see Matthew McConaughey and everything. What was your first impression of it?
Well, so the opening scene was kind of what they showed in the promo.
Yeah.
Right.
So I was like, at first I was like, this looks like an alcohol commercial. Like, how is this a movie? And then when the second promo came out, and I'm terrible with names, but the actor who plays in Sons of Anarchy,
Charlie Hunnam.
Yeah.
So they showed him in the second promo, and I was like, Matthew McConaughey and him. I'm going to see it.
Yeah.
And I saw the suits.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, I'm in. So
I know the wardrobe was a big one for you.
yeah. And so as soon as I saw that, I was like, all right, I'm in. You got me. I'm sold. And in the beginning, like it grabbed my attention for obvious reasons, but I don't know, man. I feel like knowing the movie now, like it's kind of like after you watch it, if you go back and see some of the earlier scenes, you kind of pick up and notice things that like kind of tell you what's going to happen later on that you didn't know the first time you watched it.
Right. Yeah.
And this, go ahead, Omari.
I'm literally just like the first thing I wanted to go real quick was Guy Ritchie. I mean, this is one of our great directors right now,
for sure.
And that alone sold me. And then the ensemble cast, I'm like, oh my God, yeah, like Hugh Grant, McConaughey, Colin Farrell, Charlie Hunnam. I mean, this is a good group, and I love ensembles with that level of talent. So that alone, I was like, oh yeah, no, this is about to be a banger. Like I need to peep this because, especially seeing these kind of actors in action and going back to McConaughey, when you guys were talking about him, it was like, when I first saw the trailers and what have you, I was like, dang, like this is definitely like another step for McConaughey. So I feel like he's choosing, a really good route, to go with his career because I love Dallas Buyers Club. I loved him in Interstellar. And while those all kind of had their own kind of like chaos going on, like you guys were saying, like there's so much shit going on in this movie, I feel like in this one, he was able to breathe a lot and really kind of like he still had that smooth and suaveness that he brings to films. While this one had that chaos and had that craziness going on, he was able to, again, like become a part of it and make you believe like exactly what this character is going through and what they want to do and what they want to accomplish. And from start to finish, basically at the same exact frame almost, you are taken on like a ride with him. Like he takes you along with these other great characters. The film's pretty much narrated by Hugh Grant's character Fletcher, which is a ton of fun. I love that banter between him and Charlie Hunnam's character Raymond. I loved it. I mean, I just loved that kind of, seeing that chemistry between that level of talent is just always a good time.
And I think that's the part that was so well written to me because like he showed up, again, it's going to be a bunch of spoilers, but he shows up with like a movie script saying that he's trying to sell a movie script for a movie.
Miramax. The same company that's producing this film.
To Miramax. And this movie that he's trying to sell that he's reading the script from is about them and, situations that they're caught up in and twists and turns, etc. So it's like he's narrating the story, as we go, but it's also like him trying to sell this to him at the same time. And he's selling it to him from a standpoint of like, I can give it to you or I can give it to this person, but you need to know this because if you don't, you could potentially die.
All right.
Yeah. So this is worth a little bit more. And I think that like it was such a unique way to. I'm gonna get back to what I first thought, but it's such a unique way to narrate a film. Like usually you have a narrator that is either the main character or isn't a part of the movie, and they're just like filling the blanks and taking you along the story. But this one is like it's also part of the movie,
right?
So you don't. you don't lose anything there. It's a part of the story. It's not like you have to take yourself out of the story to hear and understand. But so my first impression, I don't even know how many trailers I saw or how much like marketing material and stuff I saw before. I just knew that Matthew McConaughey was in it, and I think I saw the first one where you said you thought it was an alcohol commercial, and I was like, all right, here's Matthew McConaughey being the same, this is going to be an extension of his Lincoln commercial characters.
Yes.
And I'm like, all right,
man, I forgot about Lincoln McConaughey.
I like his
When you want to ride.
I like him as an actor, but I'm like, all right, it's gonna be more of this. I've seen him before, but obviously he's a good actor. I like his stuff. I'm gonna go see it anyway. And then it completely like blew my mind. It was totally different. He got to, like how you were saying, how you described. I've kind of just not to dumb it down, but say he kind of got to stretch within the role and like kind of spread his wings and not be a certain way.
Exactly.
Which I really liked. But yeah, so I guess we kind of got into like our favorite parts and stuff, but I think everyone with the ensemble cast, which was great too. Like I said, I didn't even know much about the film before I saw it. I just went and saw it, and I was like, oh, he's in it. I think my favorite person and character was Colin Farrell's the coach.
Yeah,
like he was such a bright spot, and he kind of tied the whole movie together, and like he killed the accent, like the toddlers, everyone like their piece and their contribution to it was I loved it. I think nothing felt out of place ever. Even though like I usually don't like music or like musicals, or I guess that's the only genre I don't like, musicals.
Really?
I just thought about it. I don't really like musicals that much.
Do I like musicals?
Because like it kind of, when they break out the song and dance, it kind of takes me out of it. But Guy Ritchie incorporated it into the story.
Right.
Like that's how they found out that someone broke into his facility, was watching a music video.
Yeah, it didn't even feel,
it wasn't corny.
musical.
No, it didn't feel at all.
The music wasn't corny.
Because I feel like that's what like a group of like UK niggas would do if they got a job from a hot shot and downtown London. It's like, oh yeah, we about to rip this.
They had the clean plaid.
Yeah, and I was just about to mention, like, since we're on that topic, I know this is our first episode, but if you guys want to send us those jumpsuits, we would greatly appreciate it.
We'll wear it every episode.
I want that.
I'll wear it every episode.
Oh my gosh.
Gabe, I went and looked up them after, and Gabe actually looked them up and tried to buy them while he was still in the movie theater. Like he's on his phone. I'm like, bro, this is a great movie. You're texting.
No,
he's
so
like,
hard.
no. I'm looking up these jumpsuits.
No, it's like, and we do a music video and everything. Like y'all got us fucked up. Like we would do that.
Yeah.
And I'd be spitting like Skepta and whoever. Like, oh yeah, no, I'd give you bars.
Yeah, Ernie, the main character of like the toddlers, is actually a rapper too.
I figured he sounded good. He sounded really good.
And he after I found that out, I was like, oh, he's not even an actor, and he killed this role. Yeah. Like, I don't know.
And it wasn't an easy role. Like they're doing sophisticated stunts,
right?
Yeah. So it definitely wasn't an easy role to enter into as someone who's a rapper,
right?
I feel like we're all over the place, but like it's just every aspect of this movie was done, I think, perfectly. Like even the way it was shot, like the opening scene. That's what I wanted to talk about. The opening scene, like they give you information. They tell you what is it, like an Easter egg almost, or like they tell you this is something that happens. You think he gets shot because you just see blood and you see stuff fall. You're like, all right, I don't know where it goes from there. And then they take you all the way through the story up until that point. And that, I guess it's kind of a climax, but there's so many twists and turns that I don't even know if I could say that was like the climax. Like, 'cause after that, he almost gets killed again, and the story unfolds more, and it's like, oh wait, no, now there's actually Russians that are trying to kill you, and so on and so forth. So
yeah. So if you're gonna ask if we would recommend this movie, I think the answer is obvious.
A consensus, yes.
Yeah, and sure. I mean, all last year, anytime anyone asks any of us what movie they
movie to watch, have you seen The Gentleman?
The Gentleman.
You haven't seen it? All right, watch that and then come back.
Yeah, just start there.
Yeah,
and I haven't heard anyone say anything negative about it.
Yeah, no, not at all. And just because it's like kind of centered around marijuana and weed, it's not, Pineapple Express. Like it's not that vibe. Like it's definitely kind of like more of the inner workings of the marijuana business, which is a pretty timely topic.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
Yeah,
one of the main antagonists was like, look, like, why would I buy this right now? In 10 years, this is all going to go legal. And you know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to be getting a great return from this if I buy this from you. Meanwhile, the whole time he's sneaking on the low, bringing down you know what I mean? Exactly. Trying to get it for cheaper, orchestrates this entire thing around the business to bring down, the value of the company. But yeah, I mean, McConaughey's character was killing it. I mean, he's got 12 farms. He's got like, you know what I mean? There's, thousands of, different spots around the UK. It's like, bro, like he's not
stepping on anybody's toes. Like,
yeah.
He's not staying in his lane, but staying in his lane or whatever. Like, just the ideal persona you'd want to be if you were a kingpin. And I guess I forgot what I was going to say. You can continue.
Yeah, no, I think we've given this movie its flowers for sure.
Oh, yeah, no, for sure.
If you haven't seen The Gentleman, please go watch The Gentleman. I mean, there was some marketing for it, but definitely not like a major blockbuster movie type marketing. But I think I can't remember, what year did it come out?
2019.
2019, easily our favorite movie.
Early 2019, yeah.
Easily our favorite movie of
and
2019.
that year had a ton of great movies.
Ton of good movies.
That was jam-packed.
Easily our favorite movie of 2019.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, and what I was going to say before was that there was no part of the movie where you're like, all right, that you didn't need that. Even the dialogue, every part was purposeful, and there was almost like no fillers. Like even the point you were saying to where they're talking about, hey, this is about to be legal in 5 to 10 years. I don't really need, like, if I buy this, it might be depreciating. And he was like, oh yeah, when the alcohol market or when alcohol became legal,
right,
they didn't even scratch that.
The prohibition,
they didn't even, the legal market didn't satisfy the demand until like 15 years later. So there's, every part, every detail, every word is purposeful, and it's funny too. Like I don't even know. I mean, it's probably considered a comedy because if any part is funny, they'll consider it a comedy. But it's like it's serious, it's dark, it's comedic. They have scenes where like, all right, damn, this is how it went, and then you just roll the film back. And like actually, I embellished a little bit, like when Hugh Grant is explaining or like writing his film or like explaining his film to Raymond. Mm-hmm. Like the part where he kills Dry, and you're like, oh, this has happened. Like, what's gonna happen now? And like, all right, that doesn't sound like him. He's like, okay, I embellished. Like every part, like you said, Hugh Grant narrating it was great.
Hugh Grant's character is awesome in this film. He is so funny, and yeah, he's the main comedic, heartbeat of the film. If you want to consider it, a dark action adventure comedy of sorts. He's the comedic relief for sure. Such a funny, quippy guy. The sneaky fox, the main guy who is sneakier than everybody in the entire film and kind of like gets under, everyone's hood a little bit and kind of, surprises you in that. Not surprises you, but you just kind of find out like your light bulb goes up like, oh, damn, like he was really finessing this. Yeah. He was finessing the situation. Like that was really smart of him. So yeah, tons of fun between him and Charlie Hunnam's character. I also liked the wife. I like how Hugh Grant described McConaughey's character's wife as the Cockney Cleopatra. I thought that was really funny because that is kind of like when I saw that his character from the beginning of seeing like the trailer and the synopsis, seeing that McConaughey's character is an American, kind of planted in this UK world in London. It was kind of funny to see him kind of like go back and forth with his wife, who is Cockney UK girl, like like able to spit and just kind of talk shit. With some of these heavy hitting, like, drug dealers and hitmen, like she was really holding her own in a lot of scenes. And that was just a lot of fun to see, like a strong woman, you know what I mean? She was about her business. So that was really cool. I enjoyed that from that performer as well. She was great.
All women car garage.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah, that was
I think
dope.
every detail, like they accounted for every detail. There's nothing they missed on or they didn't think about. It
Facts.
seems.
And the part that I feel like is overlooked is that I know the way we're describing it is a drug movie. There's killing
lot of
involved,
drugs.
etc.
Deaths.
It's so funny.
It is, yeah.
It
It's
is.
hilarious.
It's hilarious.
It is.
It's a lot of like quirky humor in
Yeah.
it, and I think that's
That's what you get from a Guy Ritchie film, though.
Yeah.
You get,
Exactly.
you get the serious, dark action, and like, all right, where is this? What's happening? He keeps flipping the script on me almost, and changing the story, but in a good way. But there's still that underlying comedy and relief to it. Well, I wanted to get your take on the cinematography in this film, because that's what's your best at. He's actually lighting all of this. Cameras all his. He
The
set all this
mastermind.
up.
So for me, good cinematography is one that you don't notice. So meaning like, you're lighting with the purpose. It doesn't feel out of place. It feels like exactly what it's supposed to feel like. If you're in a grungy area, the cinematography is grungy. If you're in a place that's meant to be like soft and beautiful, the cinematography is soft and beautiful. So it's something that where if they're doing it correctly, it enhances the mood of the film and you don't notice it. So for me, because as a person who normally when I go and watch movies, it's kind of hard for me to break away and not be like,
Right,
oh,
not
how did they light that
nitpick
scene?
and-
What did
yeah.
they shoot that scene with?
Yeah.
Or did they shoot it with this lens? Or I completely didn't think about any of that while watching the movie. So I think they had to do a good job. And there were some I guess I'm not going to say difficult because they're pros, but some challenging shots, like them riding in the back of the van,
Right.
them lighting like an underground weed farm,
Yeah.
like stuff like that. Like I've obviously never seen an underground weed farm, but I kind of feel like that's what it would look like.
Yeah.
So yeah, cinematography was perfect. It was nothing that made me like.
You were just looking at me like I've been to underground weed farm. Like you're like that's what it looks like.
Underground, just period. In
Something
the
Is that
underworld.
what it looks like?
What you be doing,
Listen,
AJ?
if you don't know AJ knows someone everywhere. Like when we travel, if we go to another country, AJ's like,
He's plugged in.
I actually have a friend who lives out here.
Who lives up the street.
Yeah, who can meet up with us. So I wasn't necessarily thinking that you had been there, but there's a possible chance that you know someone who have.
Yeah. Maybe. I may or may not. No.
Maybe. Yeah, I agree with you, man. There were tons of just really dope shots in this film. I love how Guy kind of breaks it up with some different, like I was talking about how some scenes are rewinded. I liked how, he was like, it's shot on like a 30 millimeter, and then it like shows like a 30 millimeter, and like you're going back and forth between, frames or whatever the case may be. It was just, he made it really fun, to kind of watch along and listen along to the story that Fletcher's telling. I just love it. It was a really cool depiction of London, from the urban area to, high society. I enjoyed the different color schemes and the different, there's parts of the film where, London's a naturally, gloomy place, particularly because of the weather. But there's tons of culture and tons of, diversity. And I think the film captured that as well. It's kind of like an underlying kind of blanket over the film. London's super, super dope. I've only been once. I have some family there. But I'd love to visit and just kind of like consume a lot of, a lot of the cool little nuggets of culture and tradition. London and the UK is really obviously, thousands of years of tradition. Obviously, a lot in the headlines these days of those traditions and those establishments. But the film, takes you on a really good ride through this society, through this environment,
through schooling.
Yeah, the whole deal. It was just like it was really, really cool how they depicted it via the cinematography, via the coloring, I enjoyed it visually.
Yeah, I can't say it better than these two have. So.
And he likes it the most. That's crazy.
Yeah, we can go on, but I think we kind of want to just give these movies ratings after after we talk about them and whether we recommend it, we said, yeah, we recommend it. But I think for me, it's a 10 out of 10. Because it's also my favorite movie, so if I don't give it a 10 out of 10, what am I doing? But
so I'm going to be biased. I'm going to give it a 9.5 out of 10. Yeah. I will only give them that extra 0.5 if they send us those sweatsuits.
If they send us
I'm gonna give it a 9.5 because of particularly one of the performances. One of the performances kind of took me out a little bit. At points, I was like, all right, is this a part of his character? Is he just naturally dry? And I was like, yeah, a little bit. But then some of the delivery was, in some scenes, was like, okay. And I'm talking about Matthew, the Jewish millionaire who's brought in to, potentially take over the business for McConaughey's character. I thought it was a little flat, but at the same time, I did enjoy him. And a lot of it, he did bring a lot of cool banter as well. I think all the characters, just kind of all were playing off each other really, really well. And he did as well, but I think, there were some lines in there, a couple scenes. I was like when he was in the freezer, and McConaughey was basically telling him, like, you fucked up.
It's a wrap.
It is a wrap for you, my guy. And he was just kind of like, well, what do you mean? I was like, okay. I was like, just take it easy. Just one second. Remember what you're going to say. No, but he that was kind of like the only one point that I'll knock off a little bit. But again, this is an A+, guys. You need to go see this film. Watch it. Pull it up on your Hulu or whatever. It is a ton of fun. Again, like ensemble. If you love ensemble cast with incredible talent and performing, this is definitely the flick.
Yeah, I think that was I guess there's other characters that I saw for the first time, but one of the main characters that I've never seen in anything else or I don't remember. But I think he was. I agree. Like I was like, all right, this guy's kind of weak. He could have done something else with the character, but he was a weasel, and I felt like he was a good weasel. So you're like, regardless of what happens, you're still not gonna like him. But that end scene for me with when Matthew McConaughey was talking to, what's his name again?
Matthew?
No, was it Matthew?
Which character?
The
Jewish guy.
Yeah, Matthew.
His name was Matthew, yeah. So when he was talking to him, he was like, yeah, I'm not emotional about this. I just want my money. And then he's like, but I am emotional about my wife. Like that scene, every time I watch it, I'm like, oh!
Yes.
I like that scene for multiple reasons. One, because in movies, a lot of times they play off of revenge, but the revenge is like after this act has completely happened. So like his wife is potentially about to get raped and killed, and he catches them before they can actually do it. Yeah. And then he's able to get revenge on the person who kind of was the reason for it all happening. Right. So I like that. I like that they didn't like allow it to happen. Then he kills everyone who was involved, because I feel like that's kind of, what they do in movies. Right. Like they allow the bad, catch him before it happens. Like he was the hero in that. But it's like, all right, well, I caught it before it happens, but I still haven't forgot.
Right. And I think even though it was cool because Matthew McConaughey caught it before it happened, I think it also would have probably not destroyed her character, but kind of knocked her a little bit, because she was a super strong person and whatever. And if you obviously she was vulnerable, but she killed 2 people right before. she got her licks in. But if you do that, I think it kind of takes away from how strong of a character she was. So I thought post and after you saying that, post watching the movie, I'm like, all right, that may have been intentional that they did it that way, and I could see how that would have happened, or how they would have thought of that, and I kind of appreciate that more also. Yeah,
and the film's so layered. It's like they could have easily had it the film could have totally been damsel in distress, I have to save my wife. That could have been the motivation of the main character the entire time, but there's so many different aspects of the film that drives the motivation of the protagonist and the supporting protagonist that, makes it just a really cool experience to see different aspects of the story get knocked down to the final moment where she is, in a sense, a damsel in distress, but kind of just more of, it's like a plot point now where it's okay, this is where, it breaks. This is where we getting down and we're solving the crime. We're you know what I mean, completing the mission. It's done. You lose. I win. Again, she's super super fun character just to watch her. You know, kind of hold her own against these hotshots. And she's the one who grounds Matthew McConaughey's character too. Exactly.
Even at the end, it wraps with him saying like, "She told me this was gonna happen." Like he repeats something that she says to him in the early parts of the movie, and it kind of just wraps it all up nicely.
Get you a good woman, boys.
That's the moral. Honestly, if you had to take a moral of the story, that might be it.
Listen to your girlfriends and wives. It was again, like, can't say enough about this film. Just tons of fun. Smart, really smart film. I love films that don't like spoon feed you, nor kind of, you know, are lacking in the action or, you know, the details. It gives you a little bit of everything, man.
Yeah, and me and Omari talked about this on the way here, but the feeling you get after you watch this movie is the feeling you want when you watch a movie. Like that's why people go to the movies.
Yep.
Yeah, after every movie I always should feel like I need to buy more sweatsuits.
Yeah. Like movies make you just want to do something. Just make you got to get up and just buy something.
If you feel full after the movie, like it was a good movie.
Oh man.
But yeah, talking about that, kind of wanted to get you guys' experience or your first introduction to movies in general, and what made you guys fans enough to want to jump on a podcast and talk about movies.
So my first experience, I wouldn't be. I don't know. That's kind of hard to think about my first experience.
What can you
time?
go back?
You don't remember your first time?
My first movie I ever watched.
I was told I watched Lion King a lot, but I don't know. But I guess more so like what do you remember? I guess from either being a kid or whoever, where you're like, yo, film is dope. I love movies.
So movies, television, like, has always been my thing. I probably like there's tons of like cartoons in Disney movies that I haven't seen that most people have, but it's because I was always watching the things that were, I guess, considered the adult things to watch. And even to this day, I go to bed watching a sitcom, wake up watching a sitcom. I was told that it's kind of like a trick to go to bed in a good mood and wake up in a good mood because I'm watching something funny. So I've always been that. I'm a visual learner, so I've always been the person who like visual storytelling has always been like my cup of tea. So I guess that's it. And yeah, I super duper. I mean, before the world shut down, I was probably going to the movies maybe like 3 times a week.
Yeah, I had the AMC pass. I had movie pass when I
Fandango, like
legit. Like if I'm not doing anything, I'm like, Gabe, there's a movie, you trying to slide? And he's like, I'm here. I'm like, oh, okay.
And it's like I'm in the theater like almost all day at that point. Like, yo, let me just knock out like 2 movies. Like, right, let me get a double feature real quick. Like, might as well. I love the movies. I guess I can go. Yeah, man. Going off what you were saying, I'm kind of like not the opposite, but cartoons really informed my love for film, television, and just creating and storytelling. I used to collect VHS. Remember that, folks? I had VHS tapes of Barney and Sesame Street. Elmo was one of my favorite characters. Mickey Mouse Club or whatever it was. And I knew all the words to every single thing. I mean, I was 5, 6 years old. I knew everything. And then the Disney films, I mean, I ate them up, man. Like, and it really, Disney was what kind of brought me into comedy. I'm a huge comedy nut. I love comedy, and it really introduced me to Eddie Murphy as Mushu in Mulan, and Chris Rock in the Madagascar DreamWorks film. I mean, I can go on with all the comedic talent that they've been able to get for voice acting for these cartoons.
Donkey.
And
Shrek was amazing.
Eddie Murphy hit us twice, yo. He did Mushu, and then he gave us Donkey for Shrek, like crazy. And I go to school and reenact the performances. Like, I'm making waffles. Like, that was me. That was me in the cafeteria. I was the I'm making waffles kid, trying to make everybody laugh. And yeah, man, it's funny, a lot of kids, during like career day and stuff, would be like, what do you want to be? Like, what, you want to be a firefighter? You want to be a this, that? And I was like, I want to be a computer animator. And everyone was like, what? And my uncle took me and my little brother to see Finding Nemo. And really, that was the film where I was like, this is incredible. Like, how do they do that? Mm-hmm. Like, they look like actual fish. And then DreamWorks came out. Remember Shark Tale?
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, the black version. Wait a
minute. The black version.
I was like, you can just do this? You can make Nemo and then you can bring niggas in? Like, what do you mean? Like, oh my gosh. Like, it just blew my mind. And for a long time, I got into art and, you know, just kind of dabbled into different things in the arts in general. And, you know, ever since, I've just been in love with all of it. I can't even choose like what I like about film, television in general. I mean, just give me a good story, and I'm in.
You took the words out of my mouth. That's what I like. Storytelling. It's all about storytelling for me.
Big time.
Like if you even someone just telling me a good story, I'm locked in. Like I love stories, and going to the movies as a kid was. I didn't even like care what it was. Like, all right, that seems like it's a good movie. I'm just trying to go to movies, and it was something to do as an experience kind of thing. So that, and then you said you alluded to it earlier, but Disney Channel original movies like back in the day, like early 2000s and late 90s, where I mean, probably watching them now, I'm like, all right, this is still kind of corny, but they were amazing back then. And every what was it, like Friday night is when they came out, and they would tell you, hey, the commercials are coming, go grab popcorn. Like,
and I'm gone. I'm in the kitchen and I'm popping my popcorn.
I remember,
and I'll be
like
right
at 9:45, that's when it would usually end. And we're like, it's about to end, I can go to sleep at 10. Like,
yes.
Yeah. So that's where it came from for me.
It's beautiful, guys.
Speaking of popcorn, we can segue to our movies, do's and don'ts.
Yeah.
And I'm going to start off with the don't. So everyone knows when I go to the movie, I get a Gabe special. It's a large popcorn, large Coke Icy.
Nice.
I'm going to ask everyone there, do they want something from the concession stand? A lot of people say no. I repeat the question.
Are you sure?
Are you sure that you don't want anything from the concession stand? Speak now or forever hold your peace. When you get inside the theater, do not, I repeat, do not ask for my popcorn.
Don't reach.
Don't reach. That's how you get your hands popped. When I tell you my home theater, if I'm going into the movies with someone and I ask them and they're like, I don't want a whole batch, I just want like a little bit. They bring out like the kiddie sample cup and give them popcorn in the kiddie sample cup because they know I'm not sharing my popcorn.
Yeah. But that like with popcorn, that it doesn't work like that. Like once you have a little bit of popcorn, you can't stop. Like it's just.
It's true.
Just right back to it's the same thing with corn chips. Anything corn, popcorn, whatever. As soon as you have one, you can't have just 10. You can't just like this. You got to finish a bag or whatever.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. You know, I'm a very agreeable person. I'm a very chill, laid back guy. I really, you know, whatever the theater is going to bring me on a particular night, I'm you know, it's fine. I actually, you know, I don't mind loud theaters and like interactive theaters. I actually quite enjoy it, and I am the guy. I'm probably the guy kind of screaming like, "You're making a left! Like, why are you making a left? Like, the killer's right there. Where are you going?
Why are you walking into the building?"
And it's particularly horror films. Like, I need like a good old like hood. Like, you know what I mean? I need Pookie and them to be in the back. Like, look at this man. Look, are you kidding me? What is this? I love that. Like the Paranormal Activity film franchise. It's my favorite thing. I love it so much.
Yeah.
I'm laughing because when I went to go see Get Out in the theater,
Get
Out.
Yes.
Get Out was
an experience.
That's the perfect like current experience.
Oh my gosh.
Black Panther was an experience.
Black Panther, bro. Yes. Even Us, the other Peel flick. Yeah. I mean, it's like it is so much fun. Like when you are able to like enjoy that type of film with an audience, like. Yeah, I love that type of thing. So do be a part of the experience. It really is, you know, going to the theater.
Yeah.
As, you know, as film fans, we know what it's, you know, that experience that it brings us. And it's cool to share that with others. Now, certain films, there are, I might need you to quiet down for some films. Particularly, again, as a superhero fan with the Marvel and the DC, I need to get my details. I need my deets. I need to know why, what's going on here. Is this connected to the books? Which, storyline is this? What's happening? Because they, again, like you were saying, like Easter eggs and stuff. In those films, you got to be paying attention to figure out, what's happening and why. So it's a give and take for me with, the noise situation in films. But overall, I enjoy it.
Yeah, like you said, I'm agreeable. I have a high tolerance for a lot, but I think my don't would be if we're both watching the movie for the first time. Don't ask me. Don't ask me what's going on. Because if I had to sit there, I mean, maybe if we're like watching it at home, I could pause it and be like, all right, let me catch you up to speed. But if we're in a theater, not really, because I'm like, I might be, like you said, missing the details that is gonna throw me off later on. So I'm like, don't ask me what's going on, kind of person.
I don't even like pausing it when I'm at home.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I don't do that.
Like I'm in the movie. Like I want to stay in the movie.
Yeah, same. I want to stay in it too. But if you're gonna be like, what's happening?
Yeah, no. Write your questions down. We'll
talk about it after.
Yeah. Especially with like your parents and stuff, Especially if it's like more of like a black film or whatever, and they see the folks they recognize, like, oh, not Viola Davis, and oh, look at she looks so good. I'm like, Mom, please, can you stop? Please. No, but it's fun. I enjoy it.
So, are you going to give us an official first sign off, AJ?
Yeah, I don't know how to do that. How are we gonna?
No pressure.
Should
be something about something about telling people like, thanks. This is what we watching.
Oh, go ahead. I think you got it.
Think of like like how the Breakfast Club signs off, or like I don't know.
We should have worked on this.
I don't know. But we should just cut it. Like just like that. That's it. Like just stop the video.
Yeah, I don't know. This is, gentlemen. This is what we watching.
Nice.
Nah, that wasn't good. We can try again.
Like a thanks for tuning in to our first episode 1.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be back.
We'll be back to like and subscribe.
Yeah. Thank you for tuning in to our first episode.
Please come again.
Like, subscribe. Join us next time. Where we tell you what we watching.
Comments.
Yeah. There you go.
All that.
Go ahead and say it.
Let's just make it that. Like.